Hey y'all, I know I've been a little MIA. Y'all haven't been seeing my face too much, but I'm here today with a message. And it stemmed from just like these conversations that I've been having recently with my children. And yesterday, I was talking to my daughter. I had them write down 11 things that they want to manifest into their lives, this year or whatever. And it was hard for them to write that. And I didn't want them to just list it. I wanted them to speak it from a state of gratitude. So as if you already have it, and be specific, so God knows how to bless you. But the activity was really so they can begin to know who they are, learn themselves. Like, it's so important to have these conversations with our kids to mold them, to like really raise them. And a lot of times we just let life get in between that. Like, I have conversation with my kids or whatever. My kids are awoke. They are independent, and the importance in that. And I didn't really see the importance until maybe like a year or two ago. Because like when you're in certain situations, you just be in it, right? And my kid's been catching the bus to school literally since my daughter was 10 years old. Mind you, their school wasn't too far, maybe 7 blocks from where we lived at. So they would have to walk and go get on the 15 trolley. This when we was living down North Philly. And they would walk going to get on the 15 trolley from 11th Street and go right, up the street to their school or whatever. And my daughter was 10, so that means my son was about 6. But I had to go to work, and I felt bad during that time. But it engraved a lot of independence in my children. And it's very important because we enable these children so much just by not trying to be what our parents or grandparents weren't to us. Like, we was like, oh, I'm going to raise them differently. I'm this and the third. I got McDonald's money and I got this and we going to do this, and not punishing them in certain ways. But in hindsight, not saying that our parents and our grandparents, like all their tactics or techniques were good, but they were. They were meaningful. It molded us into who we are today. Like my generation, like we strong, We really are. And not taking away anything from any other generation, but this generation, I guess I'm considered a millennial. I'm not really sure. But like we're change makers. We are here to change the world, right? If we do it the right way. That's what we was sent here for anyway. But, we got free will. But I always say, like, we have enabled these children so much, and then we send them off into the real world, once they graduate high school, whatever the case may be, and they be lost. And then we be mad or, stuck with the weight of it. And it's like, I didn't prepare you. So, and like, I've been preparing my kids in hindsight for years now. Well, God has been preparing them, and now I have become more intentional about the readiness, and that comes with having a lot of conversations. And yesterday my daughter said something to me. We was talking just about life, I'm just trying to tell her certain things or whatever, and she was like, what made you like this? And I was like, what you mean? And at first I did take like a little offense because like what? But then, I'm trying to hear what she got to say. I'm trying to be receptive, So I'm like what? And she was like, I don't just like, like this. She was like, and she didn't want to say it at first, but she was like, because she didn't want to be disrespectful or offensive. But she was like, you didn't used to talk this much. And although I have been a very talkative person my whole life, I will only speak in certain like environments. She was like, like, she was like, not saying it like that. She was like, but you used to just like kind of be there. And I was like, what you mean? Like, and I wanted her to, I wanted her to explain a little bit more, go deeper. And so I started asking her all these questions or whatever. And I'm like, you mean like I was just there, like I wasn't really engaging? Like, I'm like, in what kind of environment, or every environment, you know? And when I said like engaging, she was like, well, that's maybe what it is. Like, you didn't engage as much. You didn't have as much to say. Like, what made you like this? And I told her it was the death of my grandma or whatever that made me like this, that opened my eyes, that made me want to grow and evolve and heal. But then it made me really start asking her questions, because if you know my daughter, and if you don't, I'm about to tell you a little bit. Like, she is quiet, reserved. I would say before, like, socially awkward. But these kids came through COVID, all of those things. But I'm like, well, what made you like that? Because I started telling her what actually made me be quiet. And it was the fear of being seen, the fear of being overlooked. Or, like, once you've been overlooked a few times, like, then you just be like, I'm just going to be quiet. Fear of being misunderstood, and it makes you shy to the back. It reserves you. And I'm already like a chill person naturally. So it was easy for me when certain things was projected on me at a young age to just, shy back into the background, So I said, well, what made you like that? And she trying to think about it. And then it hit me. And I said, or was it because of me? Because we got to realize, we always say it, but like, our children are watching. And so we always like, don't do what I say, not do what I do. But how else do she learn? And from me being that quiet, that's how I was carrying it, and I feel like she picked that up from me. Like, I don't even feel like, because I've been for the longest, I've been trying to figure out, like, what happened, like, what made my daughter so reserved now and, awkward in certain situations or uncomfortable, like, what happened? And although I'm sure it's some things from her own personal life, some, situations that were projected, but she see how I was carrying it, how I was carrying myself. And that was quiet, chill. I'm just here. Like, I just exist. I wouldn't say too much. And although I had my reasons, I feel like the start of her reasons was because she was mimicking me. And that hit home. Y'all, talk to your kids. Have real life conversations. I don't care how uncomfortable they were. You think it was comfortable for my daughter to sit and tell me that I just was there? She ain't never heard me talk this much. It's just like, damn. Like, how do you see me? What do you think of me? But it was important because it helped me even understand her behaviors more, So, I don't know. Talk to your children about life, about some real shit. Please. Our future is depending on it. All right. Bye. Mwah.